These guys kill me. I had mentioned in a video that I voted for McCain at one point in time when he ran against Bush in the primary. But I couldn't bring myself to vote for Bush, and then I couldn't bring myself to vote for McCain after he picked Palin. But I at one point in time did support John McCain. I still think John McCain would have made a decent president. This guy comes in and says, "So you supported a treasonous piece of shit?" No, I've never supported Donald Trump. Not a day in my life. I said I supported John McCain. And what cracks me up about men like you, and I use the term men extremely loosely, is that you guys claim to be patriots and you guys claim to support the military, and then you call somebody like John McCain a treasonous piece of shit. John McCain held viewpoints that I vehemently disagreed with. But if there's one thing that you cannot argue about John McCain, it was his loyalty to this country. John McCain and his entire family have dedicated their lives to service of this country. John McCain was a Vietnam POW who had the opportunity to be released because of who his parents were, and he chose to stay in Vietnam until the rest of his people, the men that he was imprisoned with, were released as well. He was not going to let his privilege get him out of that situation. He was tortured, and as a result of such, couldn't use the full mobility of one of his arms for the remainder of his life, and then went on to continue to serve his country in the Senate. John McCain was not a treasonous piece of shit. The man who didn't like John McCain, Donald Trump, is a treasonous piece of shit. You guys claim to love the military, and you shit on a guy whose entire life was dedicated to serving the United States, including being in the military, in favor of a guy who not only did not serve the military himself, none of his family has ever served in the military, not one, ever, but also said that he knows more than the generals, and that avoiding STDs in the 80s was his Vietnam, and how he should be given medals for his training because he went to a cadet school. He trained just as hard as the folks in basic training, or harder than any Marine, or whatever the fuck bullshit it was he said. You guys support that treasonous piece of shit. That stolen valor, treasonous, liquefied bucket of dog shit poured into a cheaply made Chinese suit over a man who actually served, actually dedicated his life, and comes from a family who has a long history of serving and dedicating their lives to this country. You people are as un-American as it gets while claiming to be the most patriotic. You're scum. You know that? Absolute fucking scum.